Hey YouTube, coming at you with Beyond the Hype with Gligar. So we're going to look at whether Gligar is worth its 8 to 10 ranking here, strengths and weaknesses of the buff Feraligatr, and whether this Pokemon should be used or if it's overranked or underranked. So Gligar was a fantastic Pokemon to use as a safe swap, both the Shadow and the non-Shadow. You know, you got your lower attack and high defense and stamina, so nice bulk. Typing, flying, ground, so you're weak to. There wasn't a ton of ice in the meta. There was some, but not a ton. And then water there was. But then double resisting ground and single resisting poison, fighting, electric, and bug. Obviously, a few of those were very meta Pokemon. So you had great typing, great stat product, and your moveset at the time was Wing Attack, which had at the time same stats as this, 3 damage and 4 energy per turn. So you would get to these moves quick. You get to the Air Release in 10 and spam that. And you'd also have Dig, which I think got nerfed too, where you can get to it. And I think it was 12 at the time that you have coverage. So you had the fantastic like Wing Attack Air Release combo that would hit great in all neutral situations, except for like stuff where like rock and steel where it's resisted. And then you had that Dig coverage. So that's why this was one of the best Pokemon. So then they actually nerfed 2 things. I'm pretty sure they nerfed both Dig and Wing Attack. The Wing Attack lowering the energy to 3.5. So you can see in the stats here why it is worse than Feraligatr. So now with Feraligatr back at the energy that the Wing Attack was, you're right back to the spamming of these moves. So the Shadow is ranked higher just because the Aerial Aces you already have sort of the bulk and everything. So being able to boost your attack to those 80, like the 80 range, there's sort of set numbers for how many moves it will take to take out a Pokemon in GBL. And in the Great League, when you're in that sort of 80-ish to 100 range that you see in Aerial Ace and Dig, it's basically going to be 2 moves. So if you can make it just Feraligatr, Aerial Ace, Feraligatr, Aerial Ace, you might as well do that, as opposed to if you are down here with the non-Shadow, you can see it's only 66 damage. You know, 66 plus 66, 132. You're probably not even taking out some Pokemon in 2 there, so you might as well just get the extra damage bonus. Again, not to sound like a broken record, is Gligar back as a good safe swap? Yes. Is it back as a great safe swap? No. I think Wing Attack with the same stats as before would be better. And it'll go into my analysis that I'm gonna sound very repetitive, and I'm gonna cover Scizor next because I just don't want to keep repeating myself. Bug is resisted by 7 things. So when you had your Wing Attack, which was really only resisted by steels and rock, and there wasn't a ton of those in the meta at the time, Wing Attack was basically free in neutral situations. But now when you have Pokemon, which is Feraligatr, is resisted by 7 moves, a few of them which are now more prevalent. So steel would be the same. Fire, not a ton of fire, but there's flying. There is fighting. So all these other moves that you would either do neutral or super effective against are now being resisted. So when you wanted to, where before you could just go Wing Attack, Air Release, Wing Attack, Air Release in neutral situations, you're now finding yourself like, ooh, even after these resisted Feraligatrs, I may not be able to go just straight to Air Releases. I may need to dig in there to do the additional damage. And so that's where I think this Pokemon lies. I think it will be strong, but I do think with the Feraligatr being resisted, it's going to play slightly different than that. So let's get into the battles here. Primeape against Jumpluff. So we'll instant swap. Feraligatr is neutral there, and out comes the Feraligatr. And this is where it's okay, right? Just pure water. This will not resist Feraligatr. I can spam the Air Releases at the same rate of Hydro. I had a little bit of energy advantage. But because of this, I can just take this to the 2 shield and potentially, you know what, I don't even know if after, because yeah, Feraligatr is adding up enough here in the neutral situation that it should be able to go 1. Obviously, it would be helpful if this was a Shadow Feraligatr, but I think the non-Shadow should be still okay to be taken out here. So here comes the Aerial Ace. Do take it out. There you go. That's the strength, right? That plays like Wing Attack. In a neutral situation, that's where it plays well. Here's your resisted. You have your resisted poison. So Feraligatr is being resisted by poison. You do have Dig, which is super effective. So that is nice. That is what always made this Pokemon strong, is its flexibility to hit super effective with Dig on a few Pokemon. So not going to be taken out. I mean, I could have been taken out, but just going to go into here. Can take a move. Sludge Bomb, that's fine. Hopefully Rage Fist is enough in this situation here. It is not, and then I tried to commit to the farm down, hoping I can come out with some energy, but unfortunately they get to another move. Karate Chop, just not a hard hitting move, and resisted on the poison. So Corsola, let's see what's in the back here. It is, oh yeah, the Jump Bluff. So it's not what's in the back, it is what's left. It is the Jump Bluff. They are non-shadow. So Acrobatics will chip up, will it go 50%? No, just keeps me above 50%, which means that the second Acrobatics may not take me out. Although I'm pretty sure I catch here if I remember. Yeah, I do make a catch here. And they throw, and it is the Acrobatics, so I will be able to get to the Night Slash and take it out. So Azumarill. This matchup, so you can't come Gligar because Bubble super effective and Ice Beam is double super effective on the ground and flying. You could come to Corsola, but I decided to just play out this lead to see, with Rage Fist kind of ramped up, how well it can go. I knew that was an Ice Beam. I don't know why I shielded that one. But getting to the second Rage Fist here, and we're just going to see how crazy these buffed Rage Fists can do here. So with good timing, getting to this third Rage Fist, this will almost take out, get the one last Karate Chop, take it out. So now I got 3 times boosted. It is a Venusaur, so we are just going to stay in. I'm 3 times boosted. I got to imagine that I can put on some pressure here with shields and damage. They do shield 1. Here comes a 4 times boosted Rage Fist. I maybe should have gone Close Combat there. Yes, Close Combat's resisted, but it's the only move I'm going to get off. They do end up double shielding though, so when you're that ramped up, that's how this Pokemon can get kind of scary. Frenzy is neutral. I could have come either or. Again, the strength of Gligar, even as a shadow, is you can take a lot of moves here. Unless they're like super effective Hydros or super effective ice type move, double super effective ice type moves. But Bastiodon comes in, get the dig off. That is double super effective on the Steel Rock. And at this point, Corsola can just eat these moves, no problem. Very bulky. Bastiodon is not very attack heavy. I'll just be able to commit to the farm down and come out with 2 moves here when I think I only need 1. Primeape into Nidoqueen. Terrible lead. So I will go probably Gligar safe swap. But, you know, Poison. Fury Cutter resisted. Fairy. Fury Cutter resisted. So, man, more of the same old. Look, I think Niantic did it correctly. You needed to buff these moves. And because Fury Cutter is resisted, I know Azumarill is bulky, so this is maybe a bad example, but because Fury Cutter is resisted, 2 digs don't even take it out, whereas those wing attacks would have helped you add up here. But unfortunately, with the resisted Fury Cutter, just not gonna get there. So I'm gonna come back in here, knowing that this Pokemon is pretty much useless against the Primeape. I mean, sorry, against the Nidoqueen. So just gonna sacrifice it, and they give up switch into Nidoqueen. And of course, it is just me not counting here, where you're going to see I do shield up 2 Earth Powers, but they land a 3rd because I was definitely not paying attention. So they will land an Earth Power eventually on this, which flips this matchup. Makes me lose. So again, Niantic did it right. I think the bugs needed buffing. I think the steel needed buffing. I actually did put out that video this past Saturday of the video that I made in advance of the buffs and nerfs, saying you need to buff these typings: fire, bug, steel, and they did. And I think it was the right buff. I just think you can't overcome just the general weaknesses that you have anyways. So Forretress here, bug is resisted. They are neutral because they are half bug, half steel. So I know bug is resisted, and in my Beyond the Hype analysis on this, I talked about how this thing is going to be not great if you get in a matchup where stuff is resisted. So, resisted Bug Bite, they just go Sand Tomb to lower my defense, but it is still resisted, and I very easily take it in the Zero Shield. And I think that's going to be a theme with some of these bug Pokemon, especially the ones that rely on the fast move damage. At least with these Fury Cutter Pokemon, you can get to, yes, it is resisted, but you can get to these Aerial Aces and Digs and their other moves. Hydro Cannon I just showcased on Samurott. You can get them pretty quickly. So that is the pro of that. Come in here, maybe they didn't have Stone Edge, but they do have Stone Edge, so that is neutral and is a Corviknight in the back. So we will just kind of play this matchup out. I totally blanked, being like, oh yeah, I can definitely take a Sky Attack here. Playback. Super effective. Forgot that this thing has payback. So used to the Steel, Iron Head, and Sky Attack combo that did not even think about that. So I will have to start shielding here to try to chip this out. So there's your Sky Attack. Here comes the second Nightshade. This will, I think, grab the second shield if I remember. And they give up switch, and so I will instant swap here. I would be surprised if I shield anything. I still think I need to save Corsola for the win here. And I'm throwing because I don't want to get farmed down and then put on any other pressure on my Corsola. So we'll throw. They'll take me out here very quick. And now I can get to a Nightshade. Sand attacks aren't going to do much. Not enough damage on a non-stab Corviknight. Shield up the Sky Attack. Land the Nightshade. Take this matchup. Gligar, so terrible lead. Well, Fury Cutter's resisted, so yes, it's bad, but I basically stay in, take the resisted Fury Cutter, and then eventually catch on Gligar. They come in with their Samurott, where Hydro is super effective, so the pacing is at the same as mine, so I can't really get to Dig, so I just have to throw the Aerial Ace here. But the pacing here, even though Fury Cutter is single resisted on the flying, the Hydros are going to one-shot anyway, so I don't have much options there. I do have a lot of energy here, so instead of taking another Hydro, let's just throw this. That will take them out, boost my attack, throw the next Rage Fist, and then I'll probably get out. Ghost also resists, right? So I mentioned how, I think I mentioned in my video this morning how you can put up a team that has 3 Pokemon that resist bug type moves. So Primeape resists it, Ghost resists it, and Flying resists it. And now we are in a matchup where my opponent came in with 3 Fury Cutter users. Gligar, Samurott, Glyphosate, 3 Fury Cut users. And yes, these moves are coming quick. But unfortunately for them, with all the resistances I have, able to put a lot. Do I shield and farm? What do I do here? What do they have left? I assume I just let this go and come with the shield advantage Primeape. Yeah. And take that resisted move, come out with a ton of energy, and they cannot go anywhere around. So, Azumarill, we've seen this. We'll play this out. Although I play this out wrong, I should throw here. I should throw right at 8 because it's 8 versus 9. That'd be perfect timing. So then I tried to time it on the next one. But by that point, you're letting out so many boosted Karate Chops like behind that this matchup gets worse. So you need to throw it like right at the 8 versus 9. So this will be a much tougher matchup here because I did not throw right away. So we'll have to shield. It is a nice beam. So I'll throw 8 versus 9 here. Unfortunately, because the first boosted didn't come and the second boosted didn't come enough, they are left with, right? That took them out last time. But it did not take them out this time, which means I now need to shield. Burn my second shield. They get into Clodsire. I will chip for this and then go into Corsola, where poison is resisted. So it's the same on Gligar. It really depends. I guess I should have just come Gligar, where I have super effective Dig and the poison's resisted. And if they only have Earthquake, because I did go into a matchup, I think it's probably in here, where I was against a Clodsire and the Clodsire ran Sludge Bomb and Earthquake. and had nothing to throw at Gligar. I think that if you're going to run Clodsire now, I think you may need to run Stone Edge, especially with all the bugs. Bugs are weak to rock. So I think you can just use that more moving forward, the Stone Edge. I don't think you need the poison as much. Poison is, I think, better in general, but I think Stone Edge just always provided you coverage, especially against flyers. And now if you're going to see more Gligars and you're going to see more bugs, I think Stone Edge may be the way to go on that Pokemon moving forward. So get in here. I'm not going to get to close combat. Drapion is just too spammy. And yeah, we're just going to be outpaced here, so I'll be taken out. Hopefully that makes sense. I just had to stop and take a call, so hopefully I didn't repeat myself. Anyways, Primeape against Talonflame. I switch to Corsola and just get hit with a Greninja, so that is unfortunate. Gligar again. Gligar with Wing Attack Aerial Ace can do okay against Talonflame. Gligar with Fury Cutter, where Fury Cutter is double resisted on the Flying and Fire, is going to be tough. So we'll see how we get out of this. I may just need to get Primeape to kind of Rage Fist through it as much as I can. I really don't want to take a Hydro here. I think if I remember, I am able to Rage Fist through a bit of this Talonflame, especially as they try to time properly. So here comes 2 Karate Chops and a Rage Fist. So here's the first one, and 2 Karate Chops and a Rage Fist. Here's the second one. And I go straight away because I assumed they would throw because they have so much energy and they don't have any shields. But they did not. But I do take it out. Well, I take it with 1 HP. So, which means Gligar doesn't need to see it. And Galvantula, Shadow Galvantula. So I just go straight Aerial Ace. Fury Cutter's neutral. Super Glassy Galvantula. Almost one shot. They do lunge. Lunge is resisted. So it's not too much of an issue there. And take out what's left of the Talonflame. Primeape into Scizor. I'm excited to try this next. That's my plan. So the Bullet Punches are obviously going to add up. This thing is very glassy. I don't even think they really want to take a Rage Fist. They can. And they do actually take the Rage Fist. And then give up Switch into Tergology, which is a poison. So I'm guessing I go Corsola straight after this. They do let it go. Maybe I should have gone Corsola right away where poison is resisted. But maybe it's low enough that I can just Astonish down. I'm going to respect the... respect the Outrage. Throwing it in case they can get to a second one, because I'm not positive on the counts with this new move. And they do shield, but even if they do have an Outrage, I will live. So I'm not super worried, and I'm not going to burn the second shield. And they then come and snipe with Scizor. If it's a Night Slash, it will be super effective. Ooh, so I am going to shield. And come in here. I don't know about that shield. I'm actually surprised I didn't let that go. I guess I was worried that Fury Cutter was resisted on the steel, that I wouldn't be able to take it out. What's in the back? Blastoise. Now I'm down shield, so Blastoise. Yeah, this is not good. So I'm going to lose this matchup. I don't know about that play there. I think there's like one more battle. But, so for those of you who have played Gligar before, it's just, I think the main difference you will see is Gligar was so strong with the wing attack because you hit neutral against so many things, and the only things you didn't hit neutral against, you hit super effective against with Dig, which made it so deadly. And I think now, can it still play a safe swap and spammy? Yes. I just think that with the Fury Cutter being resisted by so many things, leaves you a little more vulnerable as that safe swap, and it won't have that same overall pressure that you would see that the Gligar from the past did with wing attack. So again, if you get it in neutral situations, it's still going to be good, right? You saw it against the Feraligatr. You saw the Fury Cutter against the Feraligatr. The Fury Cutter plus the Aerial Ace was enough to take it out. It's still very strong when it is not resisted. How many typings in Pokemon? 18 typings, something like that? How many typings are there in Pokemon? 1, okay. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16? 16 typings? No, this one says 19 typings. Did I miss 3 here somewhere? What is stellar? Is this normal, fighting, flying, poison, ground, rock, bug, ghost, steel, fire, water, grass, electric, psychic, ice, dragon, dark, fairy? 18. What is stellar? So those are the 18 I counted, and then it has stellar here, which I don't know what that is. Is that it? The stellar type is a type that exists only in Generation 9. Unlike the other typings, no Pokemon or moves bear it naturally. Okay, so 18. So 18 typings, and 7 of them resist you. I do not like those numbers. So just be aware that, yes, it will play probably slightly worse. Although the base metrics are the same of the damage per turn and the energy per turn of the previous Gligar with Wing Attack, the outcome is probably going to be worse than what you're used to just based on those resistances, but still probably one that is worth playing. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.